a lot to cover today, including Steve C. sending some more candies, guys. Steve C., you are my best friend. Candies, round number 2. I can't say that for anybody else here in the comment section. Let's see who's here. Bo McCraney says hello. Steve C. says ding. Brian Sisk, sup fam. Oh, I should have started the show with that. Should have started with sup fam. Ah, losing it. Sam Handwich says happy Thursday and hail state from Missouri. Sheila Shepard gives a wave. Hey, Sheila. D. Curtis says morning, hail state. I've got my payroll hat on today. Jacob Faulkner says, what is going on here? Jacob, this is more Hottie Toddy here on SEC Country. I'm Hannah Chalker.
That was fun. Let's go.
This is my show.
Go. All right. Fantastic. Good stuff. All right. That was so fun. Enjoyed that. You did good. You did good, kid. I don't know what to say. More cowbell. Somebody says, bye, Felicia. Morning, Hail State. Brandon, your head is smaller, says Wayman Hodge. No, hello. More cowbell. The Mississippi State podcast presented by SEC Country. Did it feel good to be on a show that people actually watch? Okay. That was excruciating, says Thomas Loftus. This show just got less sexy, says Kenny Manning. I don't know. I feel like we're equal. Hail State from Baton Rouge, Joe Causey. This is Dog Country, says Brian Mendy-Guest. Now all is right with the world, says Tracy Davis in Point City. RJ Sweatman says, was that Landshark? It was Landshark. You guys wanted her on camera this week, and we gave it to you. Gave you her on camera. We might do it again next week. You know what? I think we should just do a show with me and you both on the desk, just to give you a shot at the big time, you know?
What am I going to do?
Huh?
Am I invited?
Who is that? All right. Hail State, says Chan Mask. She just had to say hotty toddy. We did not agree to that. We did not agree to that particular phrase. I don't know why that happened. We will discuss it later. Hail State from Portland, Lick the Beavers, says Mark H. Krause.
Whoa there.
Boy, this thing dove off into the deep end quickly, didn't it? No, we won't terp, says R.J. Sweatman. My ears are bleeding from hearing hotty toddy, says Karen Morgan DeWeese. It's over, guys. It's over. She's gone. She's gone. And you know what? I'm not pleased with what she did. As of next week, Landshark, you're done. You're done with SEC Country. You are fired. Sorry, I had to do it. I hate y'all. I had to see it. That made me pure nauseous, says Bonnie Williamson Gable. Hail State from Mills River, North Carolina, Bob Giles. Hello, Bob. Jennifer Tipton in Baton Rouge. Yosemite National Park, Ray Leno. She has to ring the bell for using those curse words, says Chad Mask. And I threw up in my mouth a little bit when she said that, says D. Curtis. On today's show, we're going to talk to Brian Haydad of Bulldog Sports Radio. We'll talk about Mississippi State baseball, this incredible run, 1 win away from playing for a national title. Do have a tough team coming up, Oregon State, but the whole thing's been tough. I don't subscribe to this theory that State hasn't had a tough road. They have. It's been incredibly tough, and this team is incredibly tough, so I don't care who it is. I don't care who's in the other dugout. Mississippi State playing Oregon State tomorrow with a chance to advance to the National Championship Series, exactly where you'd want to be and exactly where none of us thought we were going to be, but here we are. I'll talk to Brian Haydad about that. We'll also have a show update and a shot of Jack at the end of the show. Yesterday, I was in the Brandon Walker Smoking Lounge at the Smokestack in West Point, Mississippi, and thanks to those guys for allowing me to have the space this week, as I was in Starkville and West Point all week to sell my show, to get out there, to try to launch this enterprise that I'm going to be doing very soon. And I was able to be in the Brandon Walker Smoking Lounge at the Smokestack. Go by the Smokestack if you need cigars, craft beer. They've got it all. Great spot. Hail State from Social Circle, Georgia. Way to go, dog, says Bill Bingham. Is Brian on today? Must be free wings, says R.J. Sweatman. Boy, you guys are fired up today. You guys are bringing the heat. D. Curtis, yes, we have a shot of Jack. Not only do we have a shot of Jack, I have 5 shots of Jack. 5 clips today, the most I've ever done on this show. Might as well beat all the teams in our bracket. Why not, says Derek Whitford. Phyllis Reed Taylor says Memphis, Tennessee. Hello, Phyllis. Terp, I got to talk to you about something. The Landshark has done her little thing on the show. She's come out here. Why are you wearing those ridiculous sunglasses? Why are you wearing those ridiculous sunglasses?
Sunny out.
It is not sunny outside.
Yeah, it is.
There hasn't been the sun hasn't been out in like a week.
Yeah, it has. Right.
Are they a top 10 team? If so, I like our chances. Dan Adams, they are, and I do too. Memphis, Tennessee checking in. Harvey Smith, hello, sir. 5 shots. We're getting drunk on Jack today. Sam Hanwich. Not only is it 5 clips, but I have been operating off the same sheet of clips forever, and I've just been recycling and recycling. It's been the big ones. I play the hits. I play the Ole Miss games and the Auburn games. Today I went on YouTube and I found 5 pretty rare Jack Crystal clips, 5 that you've never heard on this show. So we're dipping into the vault a little bit for Jack Crystal. I'm excited about it. Hail State, Dixon, Illinois. Tony Dickerson, Skoog. I'm going to say Skoog. Skoog felt the best. You planning a trip to the coast, i.e. Biloxi, etc., Keith D'Angelo? I'll come to the coast if there's money on the coast. I can promise you that. Alexander, Louisiana, Tommy Smith. From Asheville, go Dogs, Barry Moore. Hail State, Joy Dees. Reed Burrell says, Terp wears his sunglasses inside. Better recognize, Brandon. Oh, well, I do recognize. Is that what I should do? I should recognize? I don't.
Yes.
You look ridiculous. Like, I can't look at you right now. We got a new guy. We got Connor over here training to take over for Terp very soon. That should take about a minute and a half.
Mm-hmm.
Hail State from Byram, Mississippi. Jeremiah Body. Hail State from Jacksonville, Florida. James W. Turner, Peachtree City, Georgia, sending a Hail State. That's southwest of Atlanta, I believe. Nice area down there, Peachtree City. Down around Fayetteville and all those other towns. Hail State, go Dogs, Ben Lupo. John Williams just says maroon. I guess I should say white. Is that what we're doing? White. All right. No, I'm not being racist. That's our chant, maroon and white. Maroon, white. Yeah, okay. Brandon, I'm here now. Thank God. Gray Stacker Goods here. We can start the show. All right. Landshark, let's run through them real quick. Facebook.com/The More Cowbell Show. Please go like Facebook.com/The More Cowbell Show. That's where we'll be launching the show very soon. That'll be the launching point. People have asked me, will it also be streaming on YouTube? Yes, it will be streaming on YouTube. I say yes without a clue how to do it, but in the next 10 days, I will figure it out and I will know. It's very easy, right? Landshark, you can do it, can't you? There you go. So, we'll Facebook.com/The More Cowbell Show. Patreon.com/More Cowbell. That's where I've got a fund set up to help me, along the way as I do this. I'm going to have Patreon content. I'll have some podcasts that only Patreon users can get to. We'll discuss that later. MoreCowbellShow@gmail.com. MoreCowbellShow@gmail.com. I am looking for a salesman to help me sell this, to help me get out there and get sponsorships. Be offering 20% instead of 10 because I can't pay you otherwise. So MoreCowbellShow@gmail.com. If you know anybody, if you have any young people that you know in Starkville that would like to get out and kind of beat the bushes for me, but otherwise, if you just have something to say to me or something funny to say, please email me at MoreCowbellShow.com. Now, Terp, are you about ready? Oh,
I gotta do some
I forgot we're
first.
training somebody.
Do some training.
Okay. All right, here we are. We're training. We're all fired, yet we're training our replacements. Isn't that fun? Well, I'm out of a job. I'm out of a job in about 10 days, and we're here training somebody else to take over their jobs. Think about that for a second. Are we ready? Let's go.
It's the More Cowbell Show, brought to you by SEC Country. And now, your host of the More Cowbell Show, Brandon Walker.
That's me, Brandon Walker, More Cowbell, the Mississippi State podcast here on SEC Country. I think I might have hurt my hand just now. I grabbed it the wrong way. You got to watch your grip on the cowbell. It's a metal piece of equipment, and I think I gripped it too hard, and therefore I've hurt myself. But I'm okay. More Cowbell, the Mississippi State podcast here on SEC Country, at least for another week. Hey, go to Facebook.com/The More Cowbell Show and like that page, please. So when I launch this new show and I launch these videos and these podcasts, you'll have the right place, the right launching off point to see everything that we do. Now, on today's show, we're going to talk to Brian Haydad of Bulldog Sports Radio, a good friend of mine, a good friend of yours. We're just going to talk about this baseball team because right now everybody's talking baseball. Everybody's discussing this incredible team, this incredible run, one win away from playing for a national title. You do have a very tough opponent coming up, but you're in the College World Series. Why wouldn't it be a tough opponent? I'll talk to Brian Haydad of Bulldog Sports Radio about this baseball team. I'll have a show update in the middle of the show, and then at the end of the show, got 2 of these left, one next week, one today. A shot of Jack Crystal, the best to ever do it, the best to ever sit behind a microphone. We will did I say something that I shouldn't have said because you guys are laughing hysterically? Okay, we're good. You know, I got to watch my tongue because you never know what I might say. So Mississippi State, the Mississippi State podcast here on SEC Country, Jack Crystal coming up at the end of the show. We'll do that. We'll have fun with that as we always do. Now, I got to be serious for just a second, so please, guys, don't look at me and don't laugh. I have asked you guys in the past to help fundraise for people. Cesar, who got hurt here, who was one of our valued members of our team, and certainly the thing I've been doing with my show. But this is a little bit more serious than that. The Moore family, Stephanie Moore, a Mississippi State fan, a longtime Mississippi State fan, passed away after an 8-year battle with breast cancer recently. She has 3 children. You can see them all there. Beautiful family, unbelievable-looking family. Stephanie Moore has passed away. There is a fund going to help this Mississippi State fan, to help Stephanie Moore's family, to help these kids. They're looking for money for the funeral. They're looking for money past that for the kids and for everybody else. So I would like to use this time and I would like to use this platform to tell you about this GoFundMe. I will link it right here in the Facebook comments. I will tell you about it. Somebody please pin this after I put it up there. It's definitely something that you guys need to consider. I'm going to donate to it. We need to help this family out, this Moore family. She battled breast cancer for 8 years. She fought like a bulldog, fought like a champion, and now we are going to respond as champions for her. And, yeah, please consider supporting that, consider donating to that, and consider helping out this incredible bulldog family. Now, if you'll go ahead and get Mr. Haydad on the phone, you're just sitting there looking ridiculous while I'm trying to get a show going here. Well, I'll tell you what. They shut the doors to SEC Country, and then all of a sudden the quality just goes to whatever it wants to go to. I spent the week in West Point and Starkville. I had a good time. I was at the Brandon Walker Smoking Lounge yesterday. I was there. I was having fun. We might do a lot of shows there. We're going to do shows all over the state of Mississippi. In my pricing package, I've got stuff. If you want me to come to Kosciuszko and do a show at your restaurant, I'll come do it. If you want me to come to Manatee, if you want me to come down to Brookhaven, I'll go anywhere in the state. Or in the state of Mississippi. My goal is by the end of the summer that I am living back in Starkville, Mississippi. That's what I would like to be doing. I do have a job here in Atlanta that, is going to require my attention, so we'll see what works out best for my family. But I'm going to be doing both, and I'm very, very excited about it. Now, I've got the thumbs up. That means I have got my guest on the show. Today we're going to talk about Mississippi State baseball, this incredible team, this incredible run, this incredible event that is happening state away, one game away from playing for another national title. I welcome my guest. He's my good friend. He's your good friend. He is the godfather of Bulldog Sports Radio, Mr. Brian Haydad. Brian, thank you for being here.
Hey, thanks for having me on, Brandon. Sorry I missed your call earlier. I was too busy downing recruits and talking about their home life on Twitter and message boards.
Every time I think we have reached rock bottom and we have reached the point of ridiculousness of making fun of other people out there that might cover other schools, it just gets lower and lower, doesn't it? Before you even answer that, I know what you just said, but do you realize on the other side of the aisle from us, on the other side of the SEC spectrum in the state of Mississippi, there are fans of that school saying Mississippi State baseball is lucky and they've had an easy road. They got their asses beat by Tennessee Tech, and we had an easy road. Speak on that for a second.
We had an easy road.
What's easy about it?
I don't think you can say that word on your show.
I'm out of here in a week anyway, Brian. It doesn't matter. I'm sorry.
Are you drinking at the table? Is it what's in the cup today?
The Cowbell is full of whiskey. I don't know what to tell you. Anyway, let's get to Mississippi State baseball. Let's get to this incredible run. You obviously you have a show, the B&B show. You talk about it every single day. I want to ask you one question off the top. We play Oregon State tomorrow, and there were a lot of fans, gnashing teeth about Oregon State and North Carolina last night, wanting to play North Carolina, understandably, even though they are the number 6 national seed. It's not like they were easy. But Are
Right.
you like me? Are you past the point of being nervous about who we play, or are you still kind of worried about playing Oregon State?
Yeah, don't worry about it at this point. And this team is 11-1 against top 5 teams or whatever it is. It's some ridiculous number, and I mean, at this point, yeah, why am I concerned? Mississippi State has met every challenge for the past month. They swept Arkansas. They swept Florida. They beat Florida State. They took 2 of 3 from Vanderbilt. They beat North Carolina. Well, why am I? I feel like Alfred E. knew me. You know what? Me worry? I'm not worried at this point.
No, I'm not either. And I've gotten to the point where, to me, it doesn't matter who's in the other dugout. The way State is playing, the way they've got it going, the way they've just, it doesn't really matter who's over there. I mean, it's either the pitching staff one day. I mean, they've given up 2 runs in 18 innings in the College World Series, or it's the lineup, or it's the heroics. Mississippi State's just on a run where it doesn't feel like it matters. Now, that being said, Oregon State will be the best team State's played in this postseason run. They'll be the best team they played since Florida, when Mississippi State swept Florida. So this is a good team, Brian.
Yeah, they're a good baseball team. I thought coming into this into the College World Series, they were probably the team to beat. I liked them a little bit better than Florida because ever since Mississippi State beat Florida, Florida hasn't looked like Florida. They haven't looked like that dominant team that we saw most of the college baseball season. But that said, the way the pitching has gone for Oregon State, they've run through their ace. They pitched him twice. We're not going to see him on Friday. I just don't see, that they're going to be pitching weak at this point. That's what happens when you go to the losers bracket. You end up having to throw more pitching than you want to, as opposed to Mississippi State, who's pitched, who's been able to manage their pitching staff, and basically everybody is available tomorrow, except for maybe Connor Pilkington. So that would be it.
You mentioned pitching, and that's a point of some discussion. That is, fans are talking about, and we already know who the starter is going to be. It's going to be Jacob Billingsley. There were some fans that would say, start Ethan Small, start with your best in game 1. There are some fans that say start Jacob Billingsley in game 1, see if you can save Small. I personally was on the fence. I was on the side of the fence of starting Small and shooting your best bullet immediately. What are you thinking? Which side of the fence were you on?
I was on the other side, and to let Jacob Billingsley pitch. You got to manage this in a way that gives you the best opportunity, not to win the game on Friday, but to win the national championship. And to do that, your best course of action is to let Billingsley pitch and try to win that game. If you win that game, then you can go Small and Pilkington games 1 and 2 of the national championship series. And that's exactly what Mississippi State has tried to do, and we'll see if it pays off. I get the logic behind starting Small, but for me, when Small's on the mound again, it either needs to be game 1 of the national championship series or an elimination game. That's when you need to pitch him next. I think you can trust Billingsley. He's been a good postseason pitcher for you the last 2 seasons. His pitching style will fit well with TD Ameritrade Park. And the Bulldog bats are hot right now, so, it's more about I feel confident in State's ability to score runs, and I don't really worry about who the pitcher is. So like I said, Billingsley, his last few postseason starts, he's been very solid. So I'm not that worried about this decision, but I think you had to go with Billingsley and let Small have the opportunity to lead you off on Monday night if you can get there.
Yeah.
That's what happened in 2013. He didn't manage it correctly, and Kendall Graveman ended up not being able to go to the Hill in the national championship.
I mean, I get exactly where you're coming from, and I see the logic in it. I guess what I was thinking is if Ethan Small pitches tomorrow and you get to the national championship game or the series and there ends up being a game 3, he could come back next Wednesday. He could come back. Yeah. But again, if you're being aggressive and trying to win the national championship, then you do what you did. So I actually see both the logic in both. There's really not a bad situation here. It's definitely
right.
You just keep talking. Would you like me to sit down and just let you have the mic?
I'm taking over.
I have a question. So you're close to this team, all right? You've been watching this team all year. You've been watching it. Well, you go to every baseball game pretty much every year. There are so many differences in this team on June 20th than there were in February and in March. To you, what is the very biggest difference in this team from early in the season to right now?
Hitting. What's going on at the plate?
So the freshmen in the lineup have they're not really freshmen anymore. They've come a long way, and the other hitters have snapped out of whatever funk they were in.
Yeah, McNamee wasn't hitting well early in the season, and that's turned around. But the freshmen are a huge deal. Obviously, I mean, you go back to when State went into conference play, they were hitting around 250. And I was just thinking, gosh, this 250 before they've played an SEC game, they're going to end up hitting around 230. This is going to bottom out. And instead, as the season progressed, they just got better and better at the plate. You've got a 1 through 5 lineup that's very, very dangerous. It's difficult to get through all 5 of those guys unscathed. You're going to give up a few hits and maybe a run. And then, so far in the College World Series, you've seen the bottom of the lineup pick it up. Luke Alexander, who is a very good college baseball player and not an assistant football coach in Jackson doing nothing. And then you've got Jordan Westbrook showing up on Monday. When the bottom of the lineup gives you production, and with the top 5 that you have, you're getting pretty close to, I don't want to use the word unbeatable, but that's going to be tough for any pitching staff to go through.
I detected some shade there. Was there some shade thrown at some point in that conversation?
Maybe.
Maybe. There might have been. Listen,
Perhaps.
Listen, I'm already out of a job. I don't have a job after next week. But do you think I would be fired with the fact that tomorrow Mississippi State plays the Beavers and I was going to make a lot of Andy Cannizaro jokes? Do you think eventually I would have gotten fired for what's about to happen tomorrow?
So assuming SEC country, everything was still shipshape over there.
Sure.
And nothing was going on. And then you decided just to go in with Beaver jokes.
Right.
Yes. I don't know if you would have gotten fired, but you would have gotten a stern talking.
I would have gotten a talking to. Let me ask you a couple more questions, then we'll get to your own 2-minute drill today. It's going to be very quick. I don't like to talk about the coaching search that much because we're playing for a national title. Yeah. Who cares about the coaching search right now? But is this the most interesting coaching search in the history of the school? I can't remember ever playing for a national title while also looking for a coach. In fact, I don't know any teams that ever have. But is this the most interesting coaching search you've ever seen?
You hit on it right there. This is something that's really unique in the history of sports. How many coaches win? I mean, I'm sure there have been some where they were going to retire, and their final trip was in the postseason at some point. But I mean, I think Tom Osborne? Did he retire right after a national championship? I don't remember.
Steve Fisher at Michigan was named the interim before the NCAA tournament in 1989. He won the NCAA tournament.
And they won the national title. Right. And at that point, I don't know that, because like you said, it was right before the tournament.
Right.
And this has been something that's been going on since February. And the narrative has changed so much. It's gone from going to get high-level elite coach to, and I don't know if it's going to be the case, but I think Gary Anderson has a great chance to get this job, and that's something you would have never thought in early March. So it's definitely been something to behold. I'm not really sure which way it's going to go, and I don't know I have no idea who the next coach is going to be. I keep hearing names, but I really don't know.
Nobody knows.
And that's something interesting in and of itself. Yeah, nobody knows.
Nobody knows.
One guy knows.
John Cohen?
Cohen knows.
I hope he
has an idea, probably.
Last baseball question. Not really a baseball question, more of a Mississippi State question. State is one win away from playing for a national title. They played for a national title in baseball in 2013 and women's basketball the last 2 years. Did you ever think? Do you ever just stop and think Mississippi State is becoming almost normal to play for a national title? Is this ridiculous? What kind of world are we living in right now?
Yeah, and you mean the football team was number 1 in the nation.
Yeah.
Going into week 10 of a football season 3 years ago. Men's basketball has been the only sport that hasn't made some sort of push for a championship in the last 5 years.
And they're coming.
I think they are. So, yeah, it's been something to watch. I mean, and I know that State doesn't tend to do very well in the Sears Trophy. I forget what it's called exactly, but where they rank all of the athletic programs. But I think most of that is because
they don't have a lot of the minor sports.
They don't have the same sports, right? They don't have as many minor sports as the other schools do. But by and large, MSU's athletic program for a program that doesn't have a ton of money. I think I know it's at least the second lowest athletic budget in the SEC, but they get a ton of bang for their buck, man. They almost every team has been in some sort of postseason play this year.
A ton of bang for their buck. In fact, that's what got Andy Cannizaro fired. I'm sorry.
I don't think he was saying.
All right. Let's get to your 2-minute drill. It's a 2-minute drill for you only. We're going to go very quickly. It's the 2-minute drill food edition for Brian Haydan. Number 1, if time is not an issue and the grill is fired up, what is the number 1 food you hope to see come off the grill?
Ribs.
Ribs. I had ribs for lunch.
Mm-hmm.
Why ribs?
I love ribs.
You love ribs.
I love ribs. Ribs are delicious.
Not a good brisket?
I love brisket. Don't get me wrong. I'm a Texas barbecue kind of guy. Brisket, ribs, sausage. That's what I want on my plate.
Number 2, what's the best food to add chili to?
The best food to add chili to?
Yes.
Is a cheeseburger. A chili cheeseburger.
Chili cheeseburger. That's what you're going for. A chili cheese. I think French fries or tater tots. Chili cheese fries. What?
Spaghetti is the answer.
A hot dog.
Spaghetti.
What happened?
Spaghetti. You don't put
I don't
chili
eat
on
hot dogs.
Hard times chili, yes.
All right, you guys sit
You know what
down.
hot dogs are made of?
Lips. Yeah. Number 3. What's the best song with a food in the title? The best song with a food in the title. The best song.
Dixie Chicken.
Dixie Chicken. I would have accepted American Pie or
Cheeseburger and pancakes.
cheeseburger or cherry pie or Sex and Candy or Green Onions.
Yeah.
But you're going with the first one that you came up with, which was Dixie Chicken. Chicken is delicious.
That's the absolute first one that popped into my head. Absolutely.
Number 4, aside from New Orleans, Louisiana, what's the best food city in America?
It's close between Las Vegas and Austin, Texas.
Really? Is Las Vegas not like the Walmart of food cities?
No, man. Every celebrity in the world every celebrity chef in the world has a restaurant in Las Vegas. You can eat. You're gonna spend a lot of money.
Yeah.
It's gonna be expensive, but you can eat like a king.
Number 5, last question for you. You've got one lunch in Starkville to save your life. You can go to one place in Starkville. What's if I gave you a choice, everywhere in Starkville, and you got to go here, where are you going?
Mm-hmm. I would go to the camp house.
The camp house, and you would make your own mac and cheese?
I would get the B&B mac and cheese.
Why did we not go there when I was in Starkville?
I don't know. We were supposed to meet up, and it's too good for me. You got too much going on. So.
You know what? That is accurate. I am too good for you. Thank you for being on my show. I appreciate it. We'll be in touch. I'll be in Starkville a lot more in the next couple of weeks because I don't have anything else to do. So anyway, that's Brian Haydad. Brian, thanks for being on the show.
Yes.
Well, what a way to go off. Yes. All right. That is Brian Haydad. That was Bulldog Sports Radio. That is baseball. We're going to skip the show update. Usually I have a show update right here. I don't have a 2-minute drill today. I don't know why that's on the screen. Oh, we just did one. We did the food 2-minute drill. I think American Pie would be the best song with a food in the title. But let's get right to it. Jack Crystal, the greatest to ever do this, the greatest to ever call a football game at Mississippi State or in anywhere, at Tennessee, at Florida, at Georgia, the best ever to do it in this country as far as college football play-by-play announcers. Excuse me very much. Jack Crystal, 55 years, did this for Mississippi State football. He is gone now, but we like to pay tribute to him. He is the greatest of all time. So every now and then we like to have a shot of Jack on our show. We play a couple of clips, but today we're going deep in the vault to some that you've not seen before, that you've not heard on this show. We're going further back, not just the Egg Bowl 99, not just 99 Auburn, but some real classics here that you haven't heard on this show. 5 clips. I should shut up and we should get to them. Let's go with clip number 1.
So Levitt has teed up the ball. He's about ready to get this football game underway from Williams-Brice Stadium and does indeed come forward on the ball and kick it right down the left hash mark. Now drifting to the left. Prentice has it at the 10, up the left side to the 20, to the 25, breaks to the 40, cuts back in, eludes a tackler down the sidelines, goes to the 30, to the 20, to the 10, no flags down, touchdown Mississippi State.
Boy, made a great move with a couple of defenders that looked like they had the angle. You could see the alley open. They really had opened up the lane on the near side of the field. And he went right
1998, Kevin Prentice, the great Kevin Prentice, I believe from Vicksburg, Mississippi, starts off the South Carolina game with I believe a 95-yard kickoff return for a touchdown. I was looking for Kevin Prentice in the Tennessee game, the SEC championship game in 1998. Couldn't find it. I could find the Keith Jackson version, but not the Jack Crystal version. But there you go. 1998, Kevin Prentice starts off. Now we're going to go even further back today, and we're all going to have one Egg Bowl clip. In 1991, the Egg Bowl returned to Starkville, returned to campus for the first time. It was Jackie Sherrill's first Egg Bowl. We know how much he put into that. Mississippi State wins that day, and they did it with Jack Crystal calling a touchdown like this.
The Bulldogs are in a 2 tight end formation. Robinson checking the 6'5", comes on the bootleg action, has running room toward the goal line, and the corner scores. Sleepy Robinson on the bootleg action runs over Chauncey Godwin and scores. Wrap it in maroon and white. Bulldogs 24.
I don't know who Chauncey Godwin was, but I can see him getting run over by Sleepy Robinson right now. Sleepy Robinson, 1991, Mississippi State. Jack Crystal calls it 24-9. Mississippi State beats Ole Miss that day. Incredible call by Jack Crystal. Like I said, these are not ones that you've heard recently. These are some that you have not heard in a long, long time. And now we're going to get in the real good stuff. We're going to get back. You know, I'm 39 years old. In 1985, I was 6 years old. I wasn't listening to Jack Crystal every Saturday. It was on, and I knew it was on, but I don't know if I knew what it was, and I didn't react to it the way I did when I would get passionate and stupid later on. But in 1985, Mississippi State playing Memphis, Artie Cosby was the field goal kicker, and he lined up to kick a 54-yard field goal to beat Memphis in 1985.
28. We're awaiting the snapback. It's good. The ball is down. The kick is up. It's long enough. It is high enough. It is good. Good. A 54-yard field goal. It is good. A 54-yard field goal. No time on the clock. Mississippi State has won the ball game 31-28. Well, he got all of it, too.
I swear to God. Okay. All right. Jack Crystal, I wish he was around in my Little League days and he could call all my heroics from Little League baseball and everything. But 1985, again, I don't remember that happening. But Jack Crystal, there's something about, later Jack Crystal was great. It was great. But there's something about the energy in his voice before like the late 80s or something. The early 80s, Jack Crystal, he just had more energy. He just had the microphone like pulsed with his voice. It was incredible. We're going to go even further back. 1981, we're going to go back to John Bond. We're going to go back to Auburn, Mississippi State and Auburn late in the game. State's driving. I think they can, I don't know if they can win it with a field goal or tie it with a field goal, but they don't go for a field goal. They instead do this.
Well, will the Bulldogs try to put it deep in the end zone? Will they stay on the ground? They're trailing 17-14. They're in field goal range right now. John Bond wants to throw and looks to the end zone and throws. Touchdown, Mississippi State! Touchdown, Danny Knight. John Bond drilled it in with exactly a minute to go. Mississippi State hits two big plays.
You know what I love about Jack Crystal, and I love this when I listen back. I love when he made a big call on road games, because in home games he makes the call and you hear the crowd and they go loud. But when he does it in a road game just like that, when John Bond found Danny Knight in the end zone for a touchdown to beat Auburn in 1981, Jack Crystal's voice goes all the way up to 11, and there's complete silence in the stadium. So you hear everybody behind him clapping, you hear everybody reacting. But Jack Crystal, when those moments were big, he was bigger than anybody in the history of this game. Let's go ahead and finish this out. Number 5, last clip of the day. One time in Mississippi State's history, one time in the history of the state of Mississippi has a Mississippi team played for the SEC West Championship or the SEC Championship after winning the SEC West. And to win the SEC West, Mississippi State trailing 21-15 against Arkansas, drives down the field. Wayne Mackin connects on a 4th and 15, setting up Brian Hazelwood with this.
Who's going to win? Arkansas, Mississippi State. Pass back is good. Kick is away. Bulldogs on top, 22-21. Mississippi State 22, Arkansas 21. Hazelwood kicks it through the uprights. Great blocking on the play. The crowd is already heading onto the field to tear down the goalpost, but there's 7 seconds left in the game.
Jack Crystal. 1998, Mississippi State wins the West just like that. They win the West, and they end up going to Ole Miss next week and winning 28-6 to finish it off. But that was the big blow for Mississippi State to win the West, and it was expertly called by Jack Crystal, the greatest to ever do it. That's our shot of Jack for today. I've saved the big ones for next week. Last show next week, we will close this enterprise. We'll close the SEC Country podcast forever with Jack Crystal calling Mississippi State's greatest wins or greatest moments in the Egg Bowl. Now, I'll go ahead and drop the podcast off here. You guys, please come back. You guys stay with me. You guys talk to me on what's that? What about? Okay. Yeah. Thank you very much. So Landshark and I, Landshark will be on SEC Country Live today at 2 o'clock Central Time. I will be with her. We'll be hosting it. Her, myself, and Mike Johnson, the Alabama All-American. I will destroy him in debate like I always do this afternoon. We'll be on SEC Country Live. So check that out on the SEC Country's main Facebook page. Now, let me drop the podcast off here, and we'll get back to Facebook Live. My name is Brandon Walker. You've been listening to More Cowbell, the Mississippi State podcast presented by SEC Country. All right, here we are, Facebook Live. That was fun. Yeah, those were some obscure clips from Jack Crystal. I don't know that we've ever, I know we've never done them. Definitely, I had never heard the 1981 clip with John Bond finding Danny Knight. I'd never heard the kick over Memphis in 1985. And again, maybe it's just me, but the older Jack Crystal is just, it's different from, or the earlier Jack Crystal is different from older Jack Crystal. They're both excellent. They're both great. But you can definitely tell a difference in the tone and a difference in kind of the energy. Jack Crystal was an artist who could paint a canvas with words. Danny E. Pinter. Mark Mackey Callahan says, love me some Jack. The question is Brandon Walker going to Omaha for the game on Friday? I'm not going for Friday. My next decision is when State wins to go to the National Championship Series. That's when it's decision time for me to go out to Omaha. What's up from King's Tire in Houston, Mississippi, over there in Chickasaw County, Reg Callahan. Well, good. I know where to get some tire work done now. Is that 1 o'clock here? No, Shannon Davis. It's 3 o'clock Eastern, 2 o'clock Central Time. 2 o'clock Central Time. True Gentleman Jack Fashion Smooth, says Sam Hanwich. Jack loved Jack, says Kevin Brazil. He should have. He very much should have, because Jack Crystal, the greatest to ever do it. I never officially met him. I never said, hey, Jack, I'm Brandon. I never met him, but I did shake his hand when I was a kid, and he kept on walking. So I don't have any personal Jack Crystal stories other than the fact when I walked in the Humphrey Coliseum when I was 11, 12 years old, Jack Crystal was like, a gigantic celebrity to me. It was like meeting the president. I'm old enough to remember those games, says Lynn Rhodes Gilmer. I'm 81 and 85 right before I joined the party. In 85, I was 6 years old. The first World Series I remember was 85, the Cardinals and the Royals. The first Super Bowl I remember was January 86. So that's about when I'm getting, loosened. That's when I'm really, starting to pay attention to sports and enjoy sports. I remember the 86 World Series, the 86 Masters. I remember everything after the end of 85, but I don't remember playing Memphis in 85. I did. He was a very nice man, says Jane Lewis. Got to have you up here for a show sometime, Reg Callahan. I'll do it. I'll come to the tire store in Houston, Mississippi. I'll come anywhere you guys want. Email me at morecowbellshow@gmail.com. I do have a pricing sheet for ads and everything else. I was at the 1981 game at Auburn. We won because Auburn jumped on a punt attempt. We took the ball over because we declined the penalty. Danny Knight was a good one, says Junior Ray. The old grill talk show with Jack was classic, says Kevin Brazil. I'm sure it was. I'm sure. I mean, his one-liners were incredible, so I'm sure in that scenario, in that setting, he was very, very good. I wish we could do a whole show of great radio calls and their backstory. Mark Wilson. I think back on Christmas or New Year's. Was it Christmas? Our Christmas show was 30 minutes of Jack calls. And I don't know how you can find that in the archives, but 30 minutes of Jack calls, that was Christmas. What time will your broadcast be when you strike out on your own? Danny E. Pinter, I will announce that very soon. I'm going to be doing a lot of planning today. I'll be buying my studio sets very soon. Be buying my camera equipment this weekend, so look for me to make a lot of announcements very soon. There will probably be at least a week between the end of the show and the beginning of the new one, because the week after I'm done here is 4th of July week, and I just don't think I'm going to get the attention of people. I'm going to wait until after 4th of July to get started. Used to go to Dogs Talk at Harvey's and got to hang out with him in between commercial breaks. He was hilarious, very dry sense of humor, and would cuss like a sailor. Anna Hughes McCoy. Well, I always knew I had a lot of things in common with him. John says he's going to the championship game. I don't have any extra vacation days to go. D. Curtis. Got to speak with him in Kroger and Tupelo several times while grocery shopping, says Chad Mask of Jack Crystal. Exciting days to come, says Sam Hanwich. Who is State playing Friday? Joshua Watts at 2 o'clock on Friday. Mississippi State plays Oregon State for the chance to play for a national title. If Mississippi State wins that game, they play for a national title. If Oregon State wins, Mississippi State and Oregon State will play again on Saturday. Stay busy by hanging with Hey Dad. Bob is never there, says Ray Downey. Leaving first thing Sunday. If we win tomorrow, Saturday, how do I handle the anxiety? Chris Taylor. Weirdly, I don't have any anxiety on this. I know the phrase house money is thrown around too much, but at this point, when you've surpassed every single expectation in the world, I couldn't get upset if we lost. But I don't really worry about losing with this team. This team just has something. They have something that not a lot of teams have, and I feel comfortable every time they're on the field, which is really weird. I delivered Jack's newspaper for a short time in Tupelo a couple of years before he passed. He was waiting for me one morning at 3:45 by the mailbox, and I got to have a short talk with him. I got to tell you, Daniel Browning, I don't know that there are many stories better than having a 3:45 a.m. talk with Jack Crystal in the morning. That's a fantastic story. Go Bulldogs, bring on the Beavers. 3 more, says Earl Winter. Brandon, will you be going to any road games? I'd like to buy you a beer, says Jeremiah Body. I am, so I'm going to come to all home games, and I will look and see what I want to do for road games. I'd like to go to Kansas State because that's just an odd trip. I'd love to be able to do that. Wonder what announcers we'll have. Hopefully Perez will be busy. Reed Burrell, I think now that they've gotten to where there's not many games, I think the number 1 crew, which is Perez and the rest of them, will be on every game for the rest of the time. Because I think Ben McDonald put on Twitter that he's done for the College World Series. His time is over. Hoping to see you in Omaha to cover a national championship. Looking forward to your next chapter of greatness covering our Bulldog Nation. Jara Williams Akins. Thank you, Jara. I appreciate it. I have a tape of Jack doing my high school basketball game against Tupelo. That's pretty incredible, Junior. That is awesome. That is awesome. Now, I know you were a decent little basketball player, not as good as me, but certainly back then that was probably a great memory. Kevin Brazil says we have a love-hate relationship with Beavers. You're not going to goad me into this. I'm not going to do it. I'm just not going to do it. I'll probably do it. Ray Downey says, go Dogs, trim the Beavers. You're not going to do it. Not today. I'm a classy guy. Has this hair been sticking up out of these headphones the whole time? Not one of you could have said anything. 3 of you in there, not one of you could have said something about this. Look at this.
Looks pretty bad. Your hair's sticking up.
Jack was a hell of a guy. He once courtesy flushed twice in a public bathroom when I was in there. Mark Mackey Callahan. Courtesy flush? It's when you're in the toilet and somebody else walks in, so you go ahead and flush so there's no remainder, I sat beside Jack in the stands at Amory while he was doing the Tupelo Amory game in 1971, Richard Reif. The only time we need old Andy Word is that, nope, not going to do it. Not going to do it. I stopped on that one. If we keep doing what we've done since the Florida series, we'll win it all for our first ever national championship. Charles Hunt. I think I went back and looked since the Florida series. Since you go into the Florida series needing to win at least 1 or 2 to get in the SEC tournament, Mississippi State swept Florida. That's 3 wins. They lost in the SEC SEC tournament, so that's 3-1. They lose Oklahoma in Tallahassee. That's 3-2. Then they win 4 straight, so that's 7-2. Take 2 out of 3 in Nashville. That's 9-3, and now they've won 2 straight. So they're 11-3 since going into the final series of the season, needing to win to get in the tournament. Portland, Oregon is the best food city in America. Jay Page. Really? Portland, Oregon, the best food city in America. I've never been to Portland, Oregon. I know the Pacific Northwest is a beautiful area. I've never really thought of Portland as a food city. Reed Burrell, not going to do it. I had dinner with the lovely Mary C. and her unfortunate husband recently, and she said, I love your show, but you don't have to go blue as much as you do. And she's right. She's right, but I'm very immature. I'm like a child. If you put a mic in front of me and you put some entendres out there, I'm going to pounce on them. It's really hard to beat Chicago as a food city. Kevin Wright. Chicago's good. Steve Hill also says Chicago. Deep dish pizza. You got the Italian sandwich or whatever. You got, what else does Chicago have? Chicago's a good, probably a good food city. No Ray Downey. Nope. I've moved a lot. Memphis, Tennessee has amazing food, and New Orleans. Abby Lauren. So I put New Orleans in a category unto itself. I believe it's number 1, far and away, the best food city in America. You look like you have an opinion. Do you have an opinion? Somebody give him a mic. Give Connor Riley, the trainee, the mic so he can tell me what his opinion is on the best food city in America.
I think New Orleans is good. You have to have a seafood option or a strong seafood.
Well, that's what New Orleans is.
Right.
Okay. Go ahead.
I would include Boston.
Boston. And yes, and you are what's your favorite Major League Baseball team?
I mean, the Red Sox. But
What's your favorite NFL football team?
the New England Patriots.
And you think Boston is the best food city?
It's in the contention.
Who is your favorite NBA basketball team?
The Phoenix Suns.
No, they're not. They are not. Mobile is a low-key good food city. Mobile, not bad. It's time to wrap it up. Is somebody trying to get in here? Is it Mike Johnson? Okay. Oh, it's Mark. It's Mr. Checked Out himself. All right. Mark wants to get in here, so I'm going to have to give up the studio. That's what I'm about to do because he's got to do the Alabama show, which is apparently much more important than my show, which is why we get the A crew. Now, we'll be back next week for our swan song for our final go-around here on SEC Country. Facebook.com/The More Cowbell Show. Go there and like the page. That's where the new show will be. morecowbellshow@gmail.com. If you want to email me and talk to me, please go ahead and do that. My name is Brandon Walker. You have been watching More Cowbell, the Mississippi State podcast presented by SEC Country.